Hello, this is Teri Lou with myiPadLive.com, and today I'm going to demonstrate how I processed this image that I took at a local burger joint here in Portland a couple days ago, and then actually do this tutorial in several parts. So I'm going to start by opening up the original image. The reason I captured this image in the first place was because of the story that it told. I was sitting at the bar here in the burger joint, and I looked over and there was a plaque on the wall that said reserved for Nina, and Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. And I heard that she has since passed away, but I still thought it was wonderful that they'd left the plaque there for her. So this was the original image, and the first thing that I did is I brought it into Word Foto, and I created this mess of words for Nina, reserved for Nina. So after I was able to capture this part of it in the way that I wanted by manipulating the app, which I'll explain further today, I brought it into Image Blender and I came up with a couple different versions of it. The first one was a little dark. I was focusing on the back wall, kind of like making a wallpaper in that blank wall that originally was there. And then for the second blend, I was focusing on the cup and the white parts of the image. So I would be able to selectively mask those parts in. And that those both were done with Image Blender. And so then I was able to take those images and bring them into Filterstorm and combine them. So now you see I have the light cup and the darker background, and even more, some of the areas are even more dark by bringing in the first Word Photo layer. So I blended the three layers here together. And then I took the original one and Filterstorm and brought the plaque back completely, so it didn't have any of the words or the layer of Word Photo on it. So I like this image, but I wanted to continue to do some more fun things with it. So I brought it into Snapseed and I sharpened it and also put a frame around it. And then also in Snapseed, I went into another folder and played around with the dramaticness of it and brought it out to be a little more dramatic. And the reason I did that is because I knew that I was going to bring it into FX Photo Studio next and put a couple filters over it. This one gives it an antique look, and I'll show again. I'm going to do this tutorial in several parts, explaining each step as I went, so it's not a long tutorial for the whole thing. And then I also brought it into another filter called Bump Map to add some texture and kind of a three-dimensional look to part of the image. So then I brought these two images, this one that has the antique look from FX Photo Studio and the Bump Map, into Image Blender, and I blended them together, and this is what I got. Now I really love the texture and so forth that I got on here, but there's two issues that I don't like. One, that it looks very flat. There's not much distinction. You can't quite tell what you're looking at anymore. So I needed to deal with that portion of it, and I also didn't like how dark it became. So the first thing I did was I brought it into dynamic light and I brightened it. One of my favorite apps for being able to simply add some really pop of a light is in dramatic light. So again, after that I brought in several pieces again and went into Filterstorm and was able to first change the plaque back so you can see the more detail in it, and then I also added some more dimension to it by taking off of the bump mapping off of the front part of the image, the white cup, the strawberry jam, and the half and half, and also the, I think they're ketchup containers there, all the red and white basically, and just left the bump mapping or the texture on the wallpaper. And how I always know I finished the image is that I put my name on it. So let's get started, and we're going to be able to see the way that I process the image. And like I said, the first thing that I did is I brought it into Word Photo, and I actually store that in my folder called Bazaar. I have quite a few different things and cleverly called it Bazaar. So with Word Photo, when you first open the app, I already brought this image in before to, obviously to demonstrate. So I wanted to, it brings in the last image that you had and put some words on it. And you can easily upload another photo from your camera roll or some of your other folders that you've created. And so I have the one for Nina, and I'll bring in the original. And you'll see again that pretty much I just wanted to show you that it will put the words over it. So to create your own words, you have the choice of going on the bottom. You can crop the image, and then if you tap, which is a simple crop, basically you have the different points that you can crop from. You can do the free crop or the different dimensions there. And I hit the X, and so it's processing it. I didn't crop it at all because I didn't want to. Then if you tap on words, this is where you can add a new set or use an existing set of words that you've already done. So I'm going to tap on the top, add new word set, and I'm going to put in, first of all, reserved. Would be helpful if I spell it right. And then if you hit return, it'll go to the next word. I'm going to do for, return, and then Nina. And simply hit the plus when you're done. Hit back when you're done. And now I have reserved for Nina as my choice. So I'm going to tap on the reserve for Nina. And now you see that it put in all those words that I had for reserve for Nina. And I'm going to show you that those words are also movable, to a certain degree anyway, if you didn't necessarily like the way they placed them here. So you have, first of all, your choice of styles. There's lots of different styles. You have your classic gray, which will change just to a black and white. Your comic version, prankster, lots of different things that you can do. They're somewhat customizable, but not as much as I actually would like. I'm going to actually stick with the classic color with this one, and then it picks the font and the colors for you. And then I'm going to tap on the X. Now the last choice I have is the fine tune. And so when I go into the fine tune, you have edge as your first choice. And so when you tap in edge, you can see that the edge slightly changes. And again, I'm not exactly sure what is happening to the edge in this case, but I just want you to realize that these choices and what you like is what's most important as far as I'm concerned. And I actually like the edge one for my choice here. And then you have your edge threshold. And I'm going to bump this all the way up so you can see more clearly. The edge threshold is pretty much the different size of words. It'll go from having some choices of some large ones to all these teeny tiny words. So most of the time I pick something here more in the middle. So I have some big words, but I don't want to have too many big words that takes away from your image too much. And then you have your color tolerance, which I'm going to bump all the way up to the top again. And this is again something that I always recommend is do your extremes when you're first practicing with an app to be sure that you have all the different choices. So color tolerance also looks like it goes from large to small as far as the word size. So I'm going to probably stick with something a little bit more. And if you notice, especially in the edge threshold, it's got a number there. And I think edge threshold's a bad description. It actually has 1,057 of those words now in this. So if you pick a small number, you have only 400 words. Oh, they did it backwards this time. So that's probably why. Normally, if you had 2,000 words, obviously they would be smaller. So sorry about that. I thought I was going to be able to explain it better. So again, I'm going to pick something somewhat here. And now, this is where you see re-rendered. If you tap on re-rendered, it will actually move some of the words around. So if you see above the white there, you have a Nina Nina. Now when I tap re-render, hoping that Nina Nina will change, Nina for Nina. I'd like to get some more of the reserved words larger so you can actually see that, and sometimes this will work well for you, and this is where sometimes you might have to play with the threshold and get the reserved word to pop out. And I'm not having much luck on this one, so I'm actually going to just tap it a few more times and see if we get any luck here. For there's some reserves popping up, so let's see what we get. One more time here. Nope. There, we got a reserve for Nina. Let's see if we keep it. Oh my goodness. All right, so I'm going to stick with that one. As you see, I'm just mainly using this for demonstration. So then you tap on the X when you're done, and up at the top, the box with the arrow going off to the right, you would tap on here, and you can save it to your photo library right from here. So that is a quick demonstration of Word Photo, and from here, like I said, I am going to continue the processing of this app in another demonstration tutorial. So if you follow along with me, this is going to be called Reserved for Nina Part 1, and I'll be doing Part 2 that will go into the Image Blender and Filterstorm part next. Thanks. Again, this is Teri Lou with myipadlive.com. Thanks for watching. Look forward to hearing your comments.